We owe it not only to ourselves, but to the world to be well. It's not selfish to care
No,
about our own wellness. It's not
exactly.
selfish to care, to be in self-love and to know what we need in order to be well, because if we're not well, we can't contribute what the world needs from us.
That's so true. And the fact that in today's world, with all the like right now, we're talking and you're in California, I'm in Washington, but that's the way of the world for a lot of us nowadays. Some people don't leave their homes to go to work and mingle with people and connect, and that bonding together has gotten a little less. I think people were yearning for it and coming back together in real life rooms and things like that because we do need each other. It is important that we express who we are, and that is what we came to do. That is
Exactly.
exactly what we came to do.
You're like a breath of fresh air, softly blowing spring through your hair. Sunlight in the sky on your face, bringing joy and love to this place. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart. You bring joy and love to this place in my heart.
Hello, I'm Carol B. Brown Jones, and welcome to GG United by Love, our home for practicing love in actions. That's with the S on the end. By choosing love in every action. GG stands for grandmothers and their girls, and that includes daughters, daughter in laws, granddaughters, grandsons too, your family and your friends. If you're here, you belong here, and you are welcome. This is where we gather to share stories, wisdom, and reflections about life, love, and legacy across generations. If this speaks to your heart, I invite you to subscribe here on Substack and stay connected with our community. I am glad you're here. Today, my lovely guest is Dr. Colette Wayne. Dr. Colette Wayne has a PhD, is a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker. For more than 2 decades, she has helped individuals, organizations, and community align purpose, value, and well-being to operate at their highest capacity and create lasting impact. With an advanced degree in animal biology and animal behavior and well being, Dr. Colette's career bridges science, leadership, and human transformation. She's also known for translating complex system thinking into practical strategies that empower leaders to thrive personally while strengthening the ecosystem they influence. Her work centers on helping people live their highest, truest expression of who they are while contributing meaningfully to the world around them. Colette is also on a new path. She is the founder and CEO of Oceans of Grace, an organization dedicated to aligning humans, animals, and earth with their highest purpose so each can contribute to a thriving and resilient world. Through speaking, consulting, coaching, and immersive programs, she helps leaders build integrity driven culture, resilient teams, and sustainable impact rooted in whole self wellness. When she is not leading global initiatives or advising organizations, Dr. Colette can be found in her hometown, Ventura, California, working alongside her rescue animals, spending time with her children, and exploring wild landscapes that continue to shape her vision and creative mission. I know Dr. Colette through being part of the Lisa Nichols Transformational Training Program. She's one of my cohorts. And we had a great time together and have had very many connections. So I am so happy to invite once again. You're going to meet Dr. Colette, and I have interviewed her before, and she and I were both at a TEDx talk together. So I will also include a link to her TED talk so you can see how she present what she's sharing with us today, and also her website and how you can further connect with her. So let's get started. Dr. Colette Wayne to be my guest. Let's hear from Dr. Colette. Thank you for being here, Dr. Colette. Nice to see you today.
Hello, hello.
Right. Dr. Colette, tell us what's
Hello.
going on today. I see top talent agent on the after your name. What's that all about?
Yes, I have a new role at Top Talent Agency. So, my life mission is to help people live in their light and then to bring their light into the spotlight and help them contribute their gifts more out into the world. And so I have started a new role consulting with Top Talent Agency as the VP of Business Development and Humanitarian Initiatives. So
Congratulations.
thank you. It is lovely because I truly get to bring great people into the light, into the spotlight to allow them to really leverage what they're doing in the world, their expertise, the amazing work that they do to get the visibility and credibility so that they can level up. And
Okay.
so it's pretty exciting. I'm really loving the role. It's a pivot for me, and this last year has been a pivot for a lot of people. But I've been able to really use all of the skills and talents that I've developed over my lifetime in a new capacity, and that's really fun and exciting.
That is exciting. So let's back up. I saw that and I had to ask about it.
Yes.
But I usually like to start out with what your childhood was like, what you wanted to be when you would grow up. I doubt it was what you're doing now.
Hey, isn't that the truth? So actually, I have always, since I was a very young child, had a passion for animals. And they created a very safe space for me. They were my they were my go-tos. I had a very challenging childhood filled with a lot of trauma, and I didn't have people to be my safe space. So for me, animals were my safe space. And I remember going to SeaWorld when I was young, and I was 5 years old, and I thought I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. That was my thing. I just wanted to be a dolphin trainer. That never went away. I actually have trained marine mammals, and I love it. But what I recognized as I grew older is that I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. I wanted to help uh, people, but also souls, just souls that didn't have, that weren't being heard. They weren't able to use their voices. And so I pursued my education in animal behavior, not knowing what I wanted to do. I was on my own at a really young age and joined the military with the intent of going to college, and then got out of the military and went to college and just knew I wanted to study animals. And I got into some really great programs, a scholarship program that helped me learn about graduate school, and I got an internship in a research lab, and one thing led to another. My life has been a series of on the opportunities that were presented to me. And so just kind of surrendering that, like knowing what my goals were, what my passion was, but not having an end destination in mind, really just having a how can I serve the world with my gifts. And so I wound up going to graduate school, got a full ride PhD position at Purdue University. From that very first internship, I started running the lab for the postdoc that was in that role, and then he went on to get a faculty position at Purdue, and he offered me a full ride PhD position. And then I got out of my doctorate program and joined the federal government. I went on to regulate the Endangered Species Act. So I worked for Fish and Wildlife Service as a pretty high level government official, helping government agencies and private industry really do their work in alignment with species conservation. So a lot of times we think of like animal rights as being like way over here and or like industry being way over here, and I'm an animal welfare scientist. So I was in the middle. I was trying to understand, how can we all win? How can we work together to actually meet the needs of everybody, including the animals, the ecosystem, and our own human development needs? So that led me to all kinds of places. And eventually I got a role at, still with the Fish and Wildlife Service in Ventura, California, as an assistant field supervisor. And everything was amazing and wonderful. And then I lost my own wellness. So my journey changed. I was this animal wellness scientist who had spent my career really investigating what wellness meant for animals that can't tell us their perspective, and for ecosystems that also can't tell us their perspective. And I realized that I didn't have any wellness of my own. And so no matter my level of passion and my desire to create this change in the world, I wasn't well, and so I couldn't function. And I wound up having to go out on full disability, and really took quite a few years to get my wellness back and to fight for my own wellness. And what I realized is that I didn't just have an academic understanding of wellness, I had a visceral understanding of what it felt like to not be well and then to be well. And just how me giving my gifts to the world was dependent on my own capacity to be well. And so I continued in the endangered species world. I pivoted from working for the federal government to consulting for the federal government. So I was still kind of doing the same thing while I was getting my health back. And then last year we had, a pretty big change in the world, and my contracts were cut. And I decided it was time for me to kind of step out into this new space and use the skills that I had to do new things. And so that's where my role with Top Talent Agency came in. And it started because the president of Top Talent Agency had interviewed me actually on a broadcast, and they do such great work. Well, we do great work in Kenya, and I was really excited about the work that Top Talent was doing in Kenya. And they do a speaker tour every year where they take people to Kenya, and I wanted to go. And I just, I reached out to David Fagan, who's the president of Top Talent, and I said, I really want to go. And I committed to going. And then he said, by the way, do you want to help us? Do you want to lead our humanitarian initiatives? And my background with nonprofit work really was a good fit. And, as I took on that role of humanitarian leadership for Top Talent, it expanded into business development because, I mean, truth be told, we can do a lot of great things, but if we don't have the money to do it, we can't, right? So, more
Right.
money means more good things in the world. And so, David gave me the opportunity to really help with some business development so that we could do more good work in the world.
I love it, love
That's
it,
where I
love it.
am.
And I loved how you shared how you were actively working in the position and doing the type of work that you always wanted to do, caring for the animals and looking for the win-win for all of us, and just really pushing it. But you weren't feeling your own joy. You weren't that self-love that I talk about.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. You were giving, giving, giving,
Yeah.
but not filling yourself up first. And so
Yeah.
now, after you made the flip, and I know a little bit of background, I've heard your TED talk, and we together with Lisa Nichols learning all about transformation. I understand how that difference, that switch, has really led you in a different direction, but you are helping other people in such a great way. You are
Yeah.
now helping other people get their message out while you're still caring for the animals and humanity for all of us. I love it.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's amazing to be able to create the life you desire.
Mm,
And I think that's the space I'm in now, whereas most of my life I let things happen to me and I took that like, oh, this happened, oh, that happened. And my outlook is so different now because it's not about what happens to us, it's about our response. And now I recognize, resilience is a key theme of my life, my personal life, of the work that I do with animals, of the work that I do with ecosystems, with nature, and understanding that adversity isn't intended to knock you down. It's
mm,
intended to help build your capacity to get up and that's one of the things that I love the most. We take a lot of animals that have been in really horrible situations, and we have humans and animals that are struggling heal together. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch how we can take, like I would say my best example right now is my horse. I have a horse who's blind,
oh,
and she's blind in one eye, so she can see out of one eye, but she is blind in the other. And she was in a really bad hoarding situation, and we rescued her. And the amount of abuse that this animal endured was just unfathomable, and it's really heart-wrenching to know that people could be so cruel. But to watch her build trust, to watch her be able to like share this message with children, because we work, in particular my nonprofit works a lot with disabled veterans and at-risk youth. And a lot of the youth that we work with come from foster care, or they've been victims of violence or all sorts of horrible things. And for them to be able to see this horse that was also a victim of such horrible abuse, but to watch her trust, to watch her understand what it means to be in her own safety and her own emotional regulation, it's a powerful message. So I love being able to share that gift with people, and just that little bit of insight, the ooh, this is a really deep hole. I wonder how I'm going to get out of it. I know I'm going to get out of it. And it creates a shift of like, oh no, this happened to me, to be like, ooh, it's going to be really exciting to watch what happens on the other side. Like, I can't wait to see my growth after I get through this.
but that I'm sure that takes some practice for somebody to get to that mind thought. But that's a great way. But tell us more about your nonprofit.
Yes, so my nonprofit is called Oceans of Grace. And our mission is to help humans, animals, and Earth thrive together. And we do that in a lot of different ways, mainly animal assisted therapy. So, like I said, we do animal assisted therapy with different populations, different groups. Disabled veterans is one. I personally am a disabled veteran, and foster children, or at risk youth. So, those types of programs really fill my soul. And throughout my life, no matter what career I've had, I've always done volunteer work because I feel like service is really important to our own personal growth and our own just fulfillment, truly. So I love what I do. We have a beautiful ranch, and that we have space at up in Upper Ojai, California, and it's just this beautiful, picturesque setting. And we get to have kids out experiencing nature and putting their phones down and really connecting with themselves and connecting with the animals at a very deep level. It's incredible.
That sounds incredible. So I know you have other animals too.
I do. I have chickens, I have tortoises, I have other reptiles. So we have crested geckos. We've had all sorts of different things over time because we do rescue, and we rehabilitate and rehome animals as well. So we have some oddities. I have 8 tortoises at my house, and chickens, 8 chickens, and yeah, just lots of fun.
All right, all right. Just you have help with those animals? Animals?
Not enough. Not ever enough. We do at the ranch, we do have volunteers, at and we're always looking for more volunteers.
Uh-huh. That's good. There's always have opportunity for young people, especially to get out in nature and really experience what it's like to be close to animals and not just in buildings and streets and cars and
Yeah.
big cities.
Well, it's part of our DNA.
Yes,
Like we were created to connect with other souls. And a lot of times when people are experiencing trauma, or even not experiencing trauma. I mean, just in today's world, there's so much, there's a lack of connection. There's a lack of deep connection.
yes,
And being able to actually get outside and connect with another soul, whether
yeah.
it's a human or not, is really powerful. And what we find is that our kids who come into our programs, they walk out different. They come in and maybe their heads are down and they have trouble communicating and they can't look people in the eye and they don't have that element of self-love. And the work that we do with them and the horses is really co-facilitators. They help these kids recognize emotional regulation in their own body and that shift of leadership, right? That where they come in maybe with their shoulders slumped and they walk out with their shoulders back. They recognize their own leadership ability. And the horses really help guide us into that. And we're just co-facilitators. The horses do all the work, really. They're quite amazing. And it constantly surprises me how just like it's mystical what they can do, the spiritual connections that they can forge with people is just mystical to me. They just know. They can take it all in. They're very emotionally sensitive. And they're also very grounding. So like from a science perspective, they can take a lot of our emotions and ground them out and help us just release what no longer serves us.
That is so amazing. And I love the way that you are incorporating spirit and souls. These animals have souls with science because you are a scientist.
Hmm.
That you know the spiritual connection that we all have and makes us all connected here on earth. And when we take care of the animals, they take care of us. That's just what you just described. They're right there, the co-facilitators and helping to resolve the uh, the stress and the untrust that the young people may have when they come in, and they leave feeling better. That's a
Yeah, they
beautiful
do.
program, Colette.
It is. It's so fun. And I mean, really, it fills my soul. It's very meaningful. And it's just like when we go to Kenya, we say we go and we're investing our time and our money and our resources, and we go to these schools and we speak to thousands and thousands of kids, and we're like, you have this preconceived notion that you're going to serve, you're going to give, and we get way more back than we ever give. And it's the same thing with the work with the animals. It's like, I go and I'm mucking stalls and I'm, grooming horses and picking up a lot of poop, and yet I get so much more out of it.
That's beautiful. So I don't want to put you on the spot. Thinking about your TED talk, and you talked about the tortoise den, and you
Mhm.
told us a concept that you want us all to understand. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my TED talk was called How the Turtleness of a Turtle Saved Me. And one of the foundational concepts in the science of animal welfare, welfare equals wellness, right? Like that's those terms are kind of interchangeable in the science space. And we can go and ask another person, like, how are you feeling today? What's your experience? And you could say, I'm feeling well or I'm not feeling well, but truly your wellness experience is based on your own perspective. And when we're coming from a science space, we're making judgment calls. There's different components of welfare, right? There's physical, there's social, there's spiritual. For us in humans, I say there's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. For animals, it's a little bit different. And so, from an objective scientific space, there's a concept called telos. Telos is the essence of what you were created to be or of who you were created to be. So it's the Carolness of Carol, the Coletteness of Colette, the chickenness of a chicken, the dolphinness of a dolphin, the eagleness of an eagle. If a, and I talked about it in my TED talk with the turtles, sea turtles, and what they do. But if you think about just very simply, like an eagle was created to fly, right? A chicken was not created to fly. So if an eagle can't fly, its welfare, we can say, is compromised. It can't experience life as it was intended to experience it because it's not experiencing the essence of who it is. But if a chicken can't fly, its welfare is probably not compromised. But if a chicken can't flock, if a chicken can't be with its friends, then its welfare is probably compromised, right? Because chickens were created to be with their friends. They were created to have this social connection. Eagles could care less if they're with their friends. And so what happened to me in my journey is I had spent this entire lifetime understanding like welfare from this perspective, understanding that I needed to recognize what the essence of an animal's existence was, and then in the environmental space, the essence of what an ecosystem was created for. Like a wetland was created to filter and to create a space where flood waters can come and go and filter through the water and things of that nature. And if an animal isn't in its telos or an ecosystem isn't in its telos, we can say its welfare is compromised. But here I was, this scientist who was, doing all of these amazing things for the world, and I recognized I didn't even know my own telos. I didn't know who the essence of Colette was. And it was a really big shocker for me. So I went on that journey, my own spiritual journey of really discovering who I was created to be. And in that experience, what I've recognized is that my day-to-day, like the outcome, like my job might change, but the essence of who I am, as long as I'm living in that every day, I'm good. And so it's such a powerful tool. Understanding who you were created to be and living in alignment with that is one of the most powerful things we can do for our own wellness.
That's beautiful. That's beautifully said. That's self-love to me. That's what in one little terminology, but to understand it from a different levels, and each and every animal creature has their telos. That we all came to be who we are uniquely, but
Right.
that's what we came to be, expressions of spirit in this own unique way.
And yeah, if you think about it from an ecological perspective, in an ecosystem, every different individual, every species has something that they contribute to the ecosystem. And that something that they contribute is really important. And if it's missing, then the ecosystem as a whole suffers. There's this really powerful YouTube video called How Wolves Changed the Rivers. I think that's what it's called. And
Mhm.
like wolves are a keystone species, right? They differentially they create a differential impact than other species. So everybody matters, but some species in an ecosystem, their role is more important than others, right? So wolves are one of those. It's a keystone species. And each of us is a keystone species in our own lives. Our role is impactful on those around us. And when we aren't living in our gifts, like we were created, every single one of us has had, different DNA, different epigenetics. Epigenetics is hugely underestimated. And quite simply, epigenetics is just the turning on or off of expression of your genetics, or it's actually a protein expression. And your epigenetics can be influenced by your environment, by your experiences, by your grandmother's environment, right? So what happened to your grandmother when she was 11 years old can influence you. And each of us has such a different perspective. And we were created, literally, we were created to contribute those gifts, that perspective to the earth. And if we aren't living in our full telos, if we aren't contributing our gift to the world, then the ecosystem is missing out on that contribution. And so for me, it's a shift, right? It's a shift in understanding that truly we owe it not only to ourselves, but to the world to be well. It's not selfish to care
No,
about our own wellness. It's not
exactly.
selfish to care, to be in self-love and to know what we need in order to be well. Because if we're not well, we can't contribute what the world needs from us.
That's so true. And the fact that in today's world, with all the like right now, we're talking and you're in California, I'm in Washington, but that's the way of the world for a lot of us nowadays. Some people don't leave their homes to go to work and mingle with people and connect, and that bonding together has gotten a little less. I think people were yearning for it and coming back together in real live rooms and things like that because we do need each other. It is important that we express who we are, and that is what we came to do. That is
Exactly.
exactly what we came to do. And is I consider you one of my earth angels, these people that I meet along the way that are highly influential on me and things that I do. So the people, and I believe that everyone that you come in contact with is there for a purpose.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's definitely there for a purpose. They may trigger something in you that, seems negative, but like you said, I think you said it presents a challenge to see how you're going to interpret this, how you're going to use your first caring for yourself. Is it going to be joyful or fearful in this certain discussion or relationship? And go from there. I think that helps us all
Yeah.
to realize we're here for each other, but we first have to take care of ourselves, right?
Yeah, totally. You mentioned that, and one of the things that I have really, I'll say that has been a challenge for me in my life is that I was a perfectionist, right? I was a very high achiever, and I didn't like it when I made mistakes. For me, mistakes were catastrophic. Mistakes either caused, other people pain or me pain. And when I would have these challenging situations with people or, just in general, adversity in my life, I would look at it as if, like, oh, I can't make a mistake. But the truth is that you can't get it wrong because every single thing you do guides you into your next best step. And that's one of the reasons that my company is called Oceans of Grace, is because when we recognize the grace of that adversity, the grace of that challenge, and we take it from this is hard, this is hurting me, this is painful, to what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to level up? How can I use this to help me live in my own telos? And like it just changes everything. When you come at it from that perspective, when now I've recognized that, making mistakes is just all part of the learning process. And if I can learn, then as long as I get a lesson out of it, as long as I can take some little nugget of wisdom from this situation that helps me in the future, then that situation was not a waste at all, no matter how painful it might have been.
Exactly. And then we can also learn from other people's stories. And
Mhm.
that's where sharing our stories really makes a difference for somebody else. And the way
Absolutely.
you're explaining how when we do heal ourselves, we're also helping other people heal. And then we
Yeah.
can be a positive influence on the world. You don't even have
Yeah.
to know them, but just the energy that we all express, if it's positive, is going to be felt by others. And that's so
Yeah.
important.
Absolutely. I mean, truly, I believe that when we share our story, we give other people permission to share theirs or to recognize theirs. And I had to really get over that a lot. Like nobody wants to hear my story, or I'm living in shame or guilt about what has happened to me. But in reality, everything that happened to me was happening for me to guide me to this place that I needed to be. And when I can share it, then I'm giving other people the opportunity to change their own perspective of what's happened in their lives. And like, it's not about me. It's not about my story for me. It's about how can my story help other people live their life in their own telos.
Exactly. That's why I share Harriet's stories, because people know of her and know what she did, but to know that she was just a little girl, you know, born with no hope if you just looked at her
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
but she had hope. She had belief in herself. She knew she was worthy of being free and living a joyful life, and she did it. And so we can look at it and see all those trials and tribulations that just strengthened her in different ways, that she was able to achieve what she did and leave a legacy that we're still learning from her. And that's why
Yeah.
I use her stories to explain all kinds of things: networking, volunteerism, communication skills, because
Yeah.
it takes all that to make somebody a leader, a great
And
leader.
what I love about how you do that, Carol, is you not only share Harriet's stories, I mean, you share them in such a profound and beautiful way, right? It's so fun and it's so engaging to watch you
Thank you.
and to bring life into that and to share her story in such a way that offers perspective that so many people don't know. But you yourself have a really powerful story, and you've used Harriet's story to help you kind of shape the narrative of the hard journey that you've experienced. So I love how you take the example of Harriet and really embody that in your own life and embody those characteristics into your own resilience.
Well, thank you. But it takes exposure, and you have to. I've been doing Harry for 25 years, so, and I didn't always feel that I was gaining a lot from her. But as you do it and you really think about, as you go on in life and experience your own life, and then you reflect on someone like her, it does help you to understand, okay, this is good. I'm understanding this concept. I can use this as well. I can get through this. I can be courageous in this opportunity. I can feel the freedom of of actually taking my own life into my own joyful priorities and freeing myself as Harriet did from the struggles, the things that I might have been having at that time. So yes, my
Yeah,
friend, you've been there. We've been there for each other, and I
I
appreciate
know. It's been
that.
wonderful. And but it's been really cool to watch because, I mean, Harriet's story was one of like she might not have had freedom her whole life, but she chose to have freedom in her mind you
Correct.
know and that was something that was so powerful, and we all have that ability. We don't always have the ability to change the circumstances that are around us,
Right.
but what we do have the ability to do is change the story we tell ourselves about those circumstances.
Exactly. We have a choice to do that. Everyone has a choice to interpret things positively or negatively, or just to not give any emotion to it. Just observe for a while,
Yeah.
and see what actually is happening in this time period, and not to focus on the past, because the present is where we need to be focusing on what's going on right now, this minute. Are you safe? Are you, uh, you know? where are you at this current time that you can hold on to and
Yeah.
feel the presence of being safe and in harmony and finding some joy at the present time. That's so important. Yeah,
Hmm. The
yeah.
horses do that a lot for us. They help remind us about safety. Horses are very like that's their primary question. They ask that for everything. Like, am I safe? And what we find with horses is that one of the ways that they don't feel safe is if there's a mismatch in the person, right? So you cannot lie to a horse and expect them to feel safe. So what I mean by that is like if you come in thinking you're brave and like, oh, I'm brave, I'm not scared of this horse, right? But you're terrified on the inside, they know and they'll run from you. But if you walk up and you're like, hey, I'm terrified of you. I just need to express that like you're, 1,200 pounds and I've never been around something like this and I'm really scared. They will embrace that with such softness. It's it's such a powerful lesson of like what are we doing to keep ourselves safe. They they live in safety. And so, especially for our kids to be able to be like, look at what they do when they don't feel safe. They
Hmm.
have choice when they don't feel safe. They get to safety. And we all have that ability. Even if our circumstances seemingly don't allow it, we all have the ability to make sure that we are safe. But it starts with what do we need to be safe?
Right, right, exactly.
Usually it's that self-love that you talk about,
Right, right. And
right?
that self-love goes, I mean, people, when people are so confused about self-love, it's not all the beauty and the outer
Mhm.
things. It's the inside. It's
Yeah.
tapping into the soul that you're talking about, the spirit that we all have, that you can appreciate that you are safe because, if you really believe that you have a Holy Spirit within you, there's no one can harm you if you keep that in your
Right.
mind because we create what our lives are from our thinking. So
Yeah.
thinking positively just helps keep your life being more and more positive. And that's an important lesson. I'm sure that's getting your children safe by being with the horses. Then you can go a little bit further to helping them understand their potential and what they can do if they change the way they're thinking about the situation in their lives and they have some hope.
Yeah. And I mean, you just brought up another really good point that the story we tell ourselves really matters, right? Like am I safe is important, but we find what we seek. So if we're looking for ways that we are not safe, I mean, we can find a lot of them, right? But if you're looking for what do I do to keep myself safe every day? And what's within my control, what's within my sphere of influence, right? Like the world can be going on around us, all of this chaos, everything out there, but really honing in on like what am I seeking? What am I? Because if you seek the negative, you can find it. Like in science, there's a bias. There's a research bias where people look for something and then they find it, right? It's that confirmation bias. And there's a part of your brain that seeks that, that reticular activating system where you're like, oh, I'm thinking about red, I see red. I'm thinking about this, I seek that, or I see that, right? So your brain has to make all of these decisions on a moment by moment, second by second basis of what information it's processing. And it's a confirmation bias. It will tell you what you want to know. So if you are living in a state of I'm scared, I'm looking for everything that can harm me, you will find it. But if you're looking from the perspective of I've been able to survive every single hard thing that has ever happened to me, I have 100% success rate in survival. I am confident and capable in my ability to handle anything that comes my way because I've handled everything that comes my way before. Like it changes everything. It literally, people always say like, "Oh, it's just your mindset." Like you just have to think it. But that's hard, right? It's hard to shift that pattern in your brain because your brain is wired and these neural pathways are created based on your past behavior, right?
Hmm.
So when you've been looking for the negative your whole life, it's easy to find the negative. And when you switch, it really is quite simply that simple is to just switch, right? Now your brain is going to fight you like crazy on it because it's not what it's used to. But if you just keep rewiring it, nope, I'm going to look for what's positive. I'm going to look for, I'm going to look for the joy in this day. I'm going to look for the love in this day. I'm going to look for the beauty in this day. You will find it. Like without fail. It is 100% certain.
Well, that's what the law of attraction is a law of what you attract what you already are. If you're thinking positive, positive will happen. Yeah, great lesson. This
I
has been
had
a great discussion. Did you have something else?
I had a beautiful example of that the other day. I was learning about something called human design, and it's actually just, like how you as a person were designed. And there was this this couple that I was talking to about it, and they were just, I was enamored by their beauty. Like they were just so full of joy and love, and I was drawn to that. And I can't remember the exact scenario, but basically what it was that what happened in my design was that I saw in this person what was in me. And so here I was like thinking, oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. They are so full of love. And in reality, what I was seeing was a mirror.
Yes.
It was powerful.
That's interesting you said that because I in my book Get on Board the Underground Railroad, I talk about Camille Miller, and she made a statement to me when I was doing her interview, and we were talking about Harriet, and I was, all the accolades. She said when you see something that you admire in someone else, it's because those same traits are inside of you. That's just what you were saying, and that's so true that we don't realize all the things that we are able to do, but we can see it in other people.
Hmm.
But just knowing that if you see it in other people, that means you also have some of those qualities. You may have to develop it or be more aware of it, but that's a good thing to think about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, Colette, anything you want to say before we close?
Well, I just want to thank you. You are such a beautiful light, Carol. Like watching you over these past few years has been a delight. And I would love to encourage your audience to just really live in their telos the way that you live in yours. You embody that, and you give such a beautiful example of self-love and courage. And honestly, you inspire me so much because you just keep doing. Like you're just in action all the time. You don't let anything hold you back, and it is so inspiring. So, I guess my final words would just be to your audience to watch you and to see that beauty in you and to recognize that they have that within their own selves.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you, and I appreciate you. I just let people know a little bit. We were roommates when we were in was it Daytona Beach.
Yeah, for when my soul speaks.
Didn't even know each other, y'all. We just we had an opportunity to find a roommate, and we got to be roommates, and we've been great friends ever since.
Yeah, it was such a gift.
So
Such a
thank you
gift.
for being here. It's good to have you in my life.
You too, Carol. I just love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So you just met Dr. Colette Wayne and her interesting life story of bringing animals and people and our world all together, uh, supporting each other. Isn't that beautiful? I love it, love it, love it. It's like my new underground railroad for the whole world. Well, this is one thing that I want to encourage people is to listen to the messages about how we all are one and how we all are here to support each other. That's what unity is all about. And I love talking about it. And I hope that you are enjoying my guests. They're getting to be so full of wisdom that we're here to share. That's what this program is all about. So I hope that you will subscribe and remember that we're talking love in actions. And there's always a way to express your love in things you say, things you do, and everything that you think about. Think of it in a loving way. So that keeps you positive, that keeps you hopeful, that keeps you reaching for the better part of what you want in life. So tonight was a great opportunity to review who you are, what your priorities are, and to keep your own self-love, joy, hope, laughter, peace in mind in every interaction. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Bye bye. I do want to give you